So hello and welcome everybody to Tips and Tools to Empower You in Business. I'm Paul Kearney, European Director with Access Consciousness, and I'm joined by Jenny Watkins. Hello, Jenny.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Awesome.
So today we're going to be talking about a tool from Access Consciousness. So Access Consciousness was started approximately 30 years ago by Gary Douglas and co-created with Dr. Jane here. It's now in over 177 countries and growing rapidly. And one of the tools that we use is called Interesting Point of View. So Jenny, how would you describe Interesting Point of View and how would you use it to empower your teams in business?
Yeah. Awesome question. So interesting point of view from my perspective is a way to get me out of getting stuck in the right and the wrong of things. My programming, conditioning, socialization, whatever it is, I got to that place where I actually remember somebody saying to me, "You're so opinionated and judgmental." I was like, okay, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. That's normal. That's what everybody does. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe it's not winning me too many friends or favors, right? Because the first thing that really pinged me when I heard about this tool, Interesting Point of View, was that if you're not in Interesting Point of View and you are gunning it to get everything right or to be right, the way it works is if you have to be right, that means if somebody doesn't align or agree with you, that makes them wrong. And I'm going, okay, well, that's actually, that's not cool, right? It's like if you go through your whole life trying to prove you're right the whole time, that means everybody else on the planet is wrong. And then you're going, okay, but there's like how many billion people on the planet? Yeah. I'm going to be the only one that's right. That might not be working too well.
And there's like 8.5 billion people who are wrong. So how does it get any better than that? Yeah.
And just a touch arrogant or superior, perhaps, you know? So
just
I think, so I think for me, what was the gift with recognizing the tool Interesting Point of View was there's so many facets to it for me. First of all, if you let everything be an interesting point of view, then nothing is right or nothing is wrong. It's just points of view. And you can have a preference to have sugar in your tea today, and tomorrow you don't want to have sugar in your tea. And if you don't make it a right or a wrong point of view about whether you have sugar in your tea or not, that gives you that space to choose every single day what you would actually like to have, because you're not stuck in one side of the point of view that, oh no, sugar is bad for you, so therefore you must never ever have sugar in your tea. But if you're going through life like that, you're limiting your choices a lot. The other thing is also when I recognized that the drive for me personally to get everything right was because underlying it all, I thought I was wrong all the time. Yeah. So I always thought I was getting my life wrong. I was getting me wrong. I was getting relationships wrong. I was getting jobs wrong, money wrong, just everything wrong. So because I was coming off that platform or foundation that I was wrong, that meant I had a huge drive to get everything right. And I pushed really hard for that. So when I started backing off this and using the tool Interesting Point of View for my own personal points of view, what it did is it doesn't make me right or wrong. It just allows me more choice. And then when you can open up that space to have more allowance for everyone and everything, from there, you don't have to make anybody wrong. You don't have to be wrong. And what I love to say about this is like, if no one's right and no one's wrong, and you're not gunning to make your point of view right, what point of view then can be chosen that will create greater for everyone in the future? So for me, the Interesting Point of View tool is, it's like gold in a way. It's pure gold that you just open up, and you get so much freedom from it as well, because now you don't have to prove, you don't have to defend, and you don't have to avoid anything. You can just keep choosing from a space of, okay, what else is possible? What will create greater? What will be fun? What will be a contribution, etc. So kind of that's my very quick sticks overview of Interesting Point of View.
Yeah, and it's like we put ourselves into the box of good and bad, right and wrong. And when we're stuck inside in that box, there's only somewhere that there's nowhere you can go except for that box. And it's like
Yeah,
that box of rightness, that box of wrongness. And the beauty of interesting point of view is it actually gives you freedom. And the
yeah,
way the tool works is you just bring up a certain energy. So anything that may be up in your world. And what if everything is just an interesting point of view? So it's just the way you look at it. And all you say is, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And as you do that, you'll notice that the energy starts to change. And when you look back at that point of view, a lot of the time you can't find it or it's changed. And it's like,
yeah,
that's the ability to change. So as you change your point of view, you change your reality. So Dane here, the co-creator of Access Consciousness, often says, your point of view creates your reality. So it's like, what point of view can you have that will allow everything to expand and grow? And it's like, interesting point of view is one of those things that gives you a lot of freedom.
yeah. And it also is a brilliant tool to get yourself out of judgment. So if you're judging yourself, making yourself wrong, you keep on saying interesting point of view, I have that point of view. And if somebody else is judging you and trying to make you wrong, you can
Yeah.
use it for that as well. So interesting point of view, they have that point of view. And it's not to like make them wrong for their point of view either. It's just so that you are not the effect of their point of view of you. Because once you get caught up in that whole reaction of people's points of view of you, then you kind of go away and you're like kind of not present anymore because you're spinning around in your head. So yeah, there's so many different ways to look at the interesting point of view tool. There was something else when you were saying, when you were talking about interesting point of view, the freedom, it went away. It was just an interesting point of view.
It was just an interesting point of view. And literally,
There you
what
go.
if everything is an interesting point of view? So somebody says something to you, I was just like, wow, that's an interesting point of view. You have a point of view of something that's a point of view, and it's not wrong to have a point of view. Having a point of view is absolutely fine. It's when we fix it or when we stick it,
Yeah.
that's when it really
Make it
gets
right
caught
or
on.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where
Yeah.
we become belligerent or stubborn, that we won't change the point of view. It's like, this is
Yeah.
the only way, this is the only answer. We go into conclusion and we're locked there rather than allowing it to open and be interesting point of view. An interesting point of view gives you freedom. And I know, Jenny, you used it one of the teams that you were managing before. Maybe you want to say a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when I used to work in corporate, I shared a lot of access tools with my teams, and I actually often get messages now where they come back to me and they say, you know, they still use these tools and they use them at home as well, which allows for the relationships to get less sticky, I think, is like, maybe, you know, when people are like trying to fight for their point of view because they're trying to prove that they're working hard or they're doing the right thing, then it gets a little sticky because everybody's now kind of in conflict in a way. They're not really fighting each other, but they're fighting for their own points of view.
Yeah, completely.
So when you're in a team and people are not fighting for their point of view to be right, that's when it's like, okay, that point of view that will contribute, the idea that will contribute and create greater can be chosen. And it's not because anybody was right or wrong. It's just because everybody together is looking for the greatest possibility. And there was also, when you were talking about your point of view creates your reality, then if you have fixed a point of view about something is right, you have to keep on creating your reality from that point of view. And it doesn't allow you the freedom to access all different kinds of ideas and possibilities because you're gunning it to just get that one way to show up for you. So yeah, I mean, we could probably talk about interesting point of view for at least an hour.
Yeah, there's so much in it. And it's like, the gift of it is freedom. And it's like, what we have to be willing to give up is being right and being wrong. And so often that's habitual. It's like something that we've developed over a period of time. And it's like, or a period of lifetimes maybe, but it's like that desire to be right and that desire to be wrong. And what if when you go to interesting point of view, everything is malleable, everything is changing, everything is shifting, and anything can open up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it opens that allowance. When you can be an allowance of everyone and everything, where nothing is judged, I wonder how different this world would be if everybody had that total allowance. Yeah.
And I think, yeah, if everybody had total allowance, it would be a very different world. Yeah.
Right.
And it's,
less conflict, less judgment, less competition.
Yeah, and I get everybody's looking for less judgment from themselves, less judgment of others. And it's like knowing what's actually possible. It's like, because there's so many possibilities available to us, everything is open to us. But when we take a really narrow point of view on something, that's all that we can see. We can only see this blinkered view rather than actually, and for me, interesting point of view is actually taking off the blinkers and allowing it to open and allowing it to be interesting point of view and allowing everything to be open and allow the universe to contribute to you, because the universe wants to contribute to you and wants you to be happy, wants you to be joyful. That's actually our birthright.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you, and then you can only see what matches your point of view. So then you don't see the possibilities or what else is possible. It's really interesting. If you practice it on something that you're very, how can I put it, that you've made very significant, and you let that point of view that you've made very significant just keep on going, interesting point of view, interesting point of view, interesting point of view on it. And then notice what else you become aware of when you're not trying to prove your point of view. Then other things come into your awareness and you're going, oh, okay, that, and oh, okay, that, and oh, okay, that. You know, that's like kind of boom, then it opens up a whole different arena. Yeah. So,
and it's amazing. Oftentimes the possibilities are always there. It's just because we had a fixed point of view, we couldn't see it. And then we take down the walls and barriers. It's like, wow, that was there all along. I can't believe it. Yeah. It's just literally changing your point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think let's give a mention before we finish that you and I are working on a global initiative with Access Consciousness, taking access bars and tools and techniques into business. And if anyone is interested in any of these tools or techniques for their companies, and if they're interested in any relaxation techniques for their employees, they can give us, they can send us a message and we will get hold of them. And we have people around the world that are all ready to come and chat to you and do some discovery meetings and see what contribution we can be.
Yeah, totally. And I think if you're willing to be open to new ways of doing things, I think there's so many possibilities available. And it's like, we're excited. Bars in Business is a global initiative. We have a whole team working on it and it's pretty incredible. So what else is possible?
Yeah. Stress relief, relaxation. And from there, when you're relaxed and your body's relaxed, then all those ideas and possibilities can show up.
Yeah, and also performance optimization. It's like if you're having conflict in your business, conflict resolution, interesting point of view can be really powerful for that, where you get people to interesting point of view about something. So rather than being stuck in a point of view, this is the way it has to be, it opens it up and says, okay, it can be any which way, and allow it to open up into something beautiful and something different.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
So thank you so much, Jenny. So we'll be doing this series over the next couple of weeks and we'll be sharing it out. And we'd love to hear from you. So it is tipsandtools101@gmail.com. And please share any feedback or any information you have. And for more information on Bars in Business, it's www.barsandbusiness.com.
Yeah. Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.